Hello friends, my name is Satyakam Garg. I'm an architect, and my friend, who is also happens to be principal of SB Patil College of Architecture, degree Pune, he has asked me to share some of my experience with you. Let me tell you, I'm not very good at it, but still I'll try my best what I can offer you. I'll give you my short introduction. I passed out from Sir J.J. College of Architecture in 1993, and since then I have been working on a variety of projects, and almost all kind of projects I have done. And only I can say that when you travel in metros in India, 80% chances are that you are traveling in one of the metros designed by me. Similarly, if you are reading a newspaper, there are 60% chances that you are reading a newspaper which has been printed in my press designed by me. Also, when you get something from Flipkart or Amazon delivered at your home, 50% chances are that these are coming from the logistics hubs which have been designed by me. And on your daily snacks, whether you eat Bikaner wala bhujia or you are getting atta in your homes, most probably it's coming from the printing industries and the packaging industries which have been designed by me. So that's my short introduction. My major projects have been Dubai Metro, Thailand Metro, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh Metro. In Indian metros, I have done Delhi metros phase 1, phase 3, and I have done Lucknow metro phase 1. I have done Ahmedabad metro. I have done the Mumbai metro, Andheri Wag corridor, which is Versova Andheri Ghatkopar corridor, the first metro of Mumbai. I have designed metros for Bangalore, and so many projects. Mostly I do underground metros. I was also the designer for the first underground metro in Delhi. So that's my short introduction. Now let's talk about what I can tell you. We are as of now going through a very hard period. As you all know that we are under lockdown due to the coronavirus. The virus, this has brought all the countries, the whole world, to a situation where things are not that much predictable, and we have to see how this situation unfolds. But certainly I know one thing, that as creative people, architects don't need to lose hope. Also, from my international experience and working with the large scale projects, in fact I have worked on the world's costliest, most expensive projects. I was also a senior architect on the Burj Khalifa development. This is the old town commercial island in Dubai, which has got tallest building of the world as of now. So I have worked on that also. I can tell you something, that when we pass out as an architect from any Indian college, our options are actually very, very large options which we can explore. There are career options which nobody is going to tell you, and most probably most of them are not even aware of that these career options exist. But trust me, internationally there are so many type of jobs which an architect can handle beautifully. For that, you need to have some training, sort of training, and training is not training not by others, training self-learned training. You should focus on that, but you need to know where to find these options, what are the options, and how can you proceed about it. And trust me that you can make a lot of money in such options. You can work internationally, but you have to be prepared. So I'm going to talk about it. Now let's see, first of all, what is the difference between working internationally and working when you are pass out and traditionally you go about the things. During your architecture college time itself, there's a time period, a time frame where you do go through a professional practice, normally through some working through an architectural office under the guidance of some senior architects or the principal architect. You work in their offices. This training period actually is very, very crucial. This is your only opportunity from the theory part to the practical part where you need to learn the things. Don't invest your time in an architectural office or a design office where they just ask you to do the drafting, because most of the people out there, they are not going to teach you anything. They just want cheap help for their ongoing design works, and they want to use the architects as draftsmen. That's the reality. People may not be agreeing with me, a lot of people will not be agreeing with me, but that's what a lot of consultancy firms are doing. They are hiring young architects, exploiting them, and once they are capable of earning more money, they just tell them to go away. So that's really a bad situation, and after this corona, it's going to be further deteriorating. But you don't have to depend upon anybody. What you can do, you can always learn. There are so many resources. These resources were not available during our times, but in your time, everything is available on the internet. You can just go through these and establish yourself. So what are the key things? I'll tell you. Internationally, you require disciplined working. Disciplined working means, for example, I'll just give you one example. In India, most of the people, when they go for a driving license, they are self-taught. Self-taught means pick up a car, or your brother or your father gives you some trial lessons, and then you are on your own, and then one fine day you go to the license office, apply for it, and pass it somehow. But what you have missed here, you become a driver, but you are not a trained driver. Why it's so? Because training has not happened perfectly. If I tell you that wiper of your cars can be used for precisely showing where your vehicle is going. At the car, there is a car design principle, but you don't know about it because you thought wipers are only for cleaning the windscreen. But wipers are so placed that an orientation can exactly tell you that how much bend of the steering will take the car where. So these things are the secret things which you only can learn through a trained process. And that's the difference. If you are in a Western world, or say even a Gulf country, if you go for a driving license, they want you to do the mandatory training. All the training is mandatory for at least 45 days, where you are taught each and everything, how a vehicle behaves, how you should even close the door of a vehicle. Everything is told to you. You become a perfect trained person. And that's where for architects, this difference also exists when you work internationally. Most of the practicing Indian architects who are trained in India, they are rejected outside, or they are just given shoddy jobs. I have been chief architect for Dubai Metro. I have been chief architect for Riyadh Metro. I have worked in the capacity of senior architect on the Burj Khalifa. Why? Only because I went through these trainings early in my life, and I want to tell you about these trainings. Now, when you work on a large project, I'm not talking about a housing society or a mass housing complex. These are also large projects, but these are fairly common projects. But when you work on a project which is a complex project like say a metro, a metro project, 50 stations you have to do, you have to complete the project within a span of 4 years. All 50 stations complete with the viaduct, complete with the underground tunnels, complete with the ventilation system, complete with the signaling system. All these kind of projects, these are design projects. You require architect to work on these projects. Payments are good on such projects, and so many architects are required. Project cannot be done by a single architect. It requires so many people to complete this kind of task, which is a time-bound task, which is a very precise task. Even a half a mistake in the measurements is enough to derail a train. So these kind of precise projects require a trained background. Now what comes to accomplish these projects, and how can you be part of such projects? It depends upon, have you seen or do you know anything about how this project works? You don't have to be part of such projects to work, but there are enough documentation, enough guidelines exist on internet, on many platforms which are made for the international codes and the guidelines, where these guidelines and principles you can find on the internet. So first thing I want you to note down is there is something called guidelines for collaborative working. Why I am saying collaborative working? Internationally, on large projects, there is an expertise pool. Expertise pool means that there are certain people who are expert in the environmental control systems. There are certain people who are the structural systems, which are special structural systems, not the common system. There are people who are experts in the architectural system. There are people who are experts in the life safety systems. So a single project becomes a part of all these components, and you have to interact with each and every person. World over, all these persons are sitting in different countries. They are using different languages, and they have to work on a single project. It's difficult to get all these expertise together. So what has happened? A code has been made. There is a British code. A code has been made. It's called Code for Collaborative Production of Design Documentation. Find this code on the internet. I can give you the reference later also. And here you will find the best information on the tools. What tools? Your CAD, your documentation systems, and you will know how you have to generate the information. See, it doesn't matter whether you are making a flooring detail, or you are making a walling detail, or you are creating a detail for some window. But what you must know is that the information prepared by you is usable by the other stakeholder on the project, and you are able to well communicate with them. And that's the key of a successful project. In India, most of the projects are delayed. Why they are delayed? Because this collaboration does not exist properly. People are not trained. You have to go through the training. Training requires certain things. Training means you have to follow the codes, you have to follow the guidelines, there is a discipline to it, and that you have to understand. And it's easy, it's not difficult. Only thing, you need to find the right resources. So what I have done is, I will definitely share with you the codal requirements time to time. Also, I have prepared two presentations. One presentation focuses on a project management information system. Another presentation focuses on design and build system. Now, most of the large projects where a lot of professional expertise is required, a lot of people from different background, different nationalities are working together. Those type of projects require design and build type of construction procedures. Mostly these projects are given by the various governments of various nations, and these governments, because these government doesn't have any expertise of their own, so what they do the give the design and build contracts, where a contractor who backs the project is also responsible for the design. So in a design build setup, things get done faster, because and the motive of everybody on design and build process is to complete the project, do it in a faster manner, do it in an economical manner, arrive on the best situation. So everything is given to the contractor, even the designer is working here. Unlike traditional contracts where an architect designs and he hires a structural engineer, he hires a HVAC engineer, he hires a MEP vendor, and then they try to design it half cooked, and then the contracting happens. It's also like people are not able to understand because drawings are uncoordinated. Such things are all avoided in a design and build setup. Design and build setup, most of the large scale projects in India are going to design and build setups. And there are at least 2 or 3 level consultant is involved in that. One is the general consultant who prepares the concept design, then there is a detailed design consultant, and then there is a shop design consultant. So there are many opportunities for architects. You can explore them. Some of you may even be interested in not only doing the design but the design management. Design management is also a very good area in which you are supposed to do the coordination. You become a design coordinator or a design integration manager, where you are able to read all kind of designs. Means you are able to read the MEP designs, you are able to read the structural design properly, and then you can do the clash management. Most of you now have started using the BIM, that is the building information modeling, which is good, and but it is slightly tedious when it comes to the large scale projects. It's being used. In fact, I was the one who used the BIM for a first international project where BIM was mandated, means BIM was necessary to do the design, and it was Riyadh Metro project. So I have used BIM on that, but still for the coordination purposes, we use a lot of AutoCAD based coordination, and till the time all the experts are on the BIM completely, this is going to be slightly difficult. So there's a career out there in that also. Another career option is with for architects is the specifiers. When I say specifiers, please understand it clearly. Until unless you don't know what is the specification, you cannot do the detailing. Until unless you know what is your budgeting and how your detailing or how your design affects the budget, you have not done that complete design. So that's where, to understand the specifications, to understand the costs, you have to certainly make yourself updated with these information, which are updated time to time on national and international forums. Nationally, you have got CPWD publications where all the specifications, all the bill of quantities are published on regular basis. There are internationally spawn book from UK. There are so many resources available which are updated on regular basis all around the world, and most of these are similar in nature. There's not much difference. Even Indian standards, most of this is copied from either British standards or some NFPA standards. Now, one of the main focus after the COVID-19 will be regarding the safety of the workers, means safety of the workers on the workplaces, safety of the people going in the mass gathering places or the assembly spaces. So I think these are going to be some big projects now. Government will think of when they design a convention center, and how a situation people can be saved from a situation like corona. So these are going to be playing a lot of new standards updation. I advise you to go through the National Fire Protection Agency, NFPA, which is the agency of the America, and it invests a lot of time and a lot of expertise from all over the world in getting the standards made on various kind of the projects. For example, if I'm designing metros, I'm using an NFPA 130. NFPA 130 is a code of code standard guideline for designing the metros with particular respect to the life and safety of the people. Remember, these codes are now going to change drastically after this corona situation. So I want you to keep eye on that. It's always better to be prepared. When you have the knowledge and you have the right direction, you are bound to succeed. Please try to understand that don't waste your time doing small drafting in the offices of established architects in name of training. Try to learn, try to enhance your knowledge. Use it for your own development. Use it for your own career enhancement. That's the way to do it. You have to think of the big, larger projects. Housing anybody can do. Small housing, small commercial spaces, anybody can do. These are not challenging projects. Challenging projects are your big, where you have to do, for example, seaports, for example, multi-storied car parks, for example, big mega universities where trains are running, big metro projects. All these kind of large projects will give you a greater or a larger view of the things and with an eye on detailing, because everything small component is necessary. You need to be in a system where you are exposed to international working, you are exposed to international experts, then only your knowledge base increases. And that's what will keep your career ahead. So I hope you have understood my words, maybe some complexities. I am not very good at making presentations. I'm thanking Dr. Sonavane over here, who invited me to give some insights into my work and show it to you. So go through these two presentations which are on the PMIS, Project Management Information System, structured design documentation and processes, and the presentation on the design and build systems, how the design and build system work. You will find many options where you can fit in